So Serum 2 has been out for over a year now, and after using it all this time, I think these are the 4 tricks that every producer should know. So for the first trick, let's use this sound as an example. So if we go to the effects section, we can see this sound just has a normal ping pong delay on it. But I'm gonna bypass that because we can make this delay a lot cooler. We're gonna use a ghost oscillator to trigger the delay to make some really cool effects. So to do this, we essentially need to make a copy of our entire sound. So I'll just copy the main oscillator over to oscillator B, but I'm gonna set this as no output, and you'll see why in a minute. But over in the effects section, I'm gonna take our whole chain and copy it over to bus 1. So the entire effects chain. And just a routing thing, I wanna make sure that this bus doesn't go back into the other main effects bus. So in the mix tab, I'll change the output of bus 1 to direct. So if now I send that copy oscillator to bus 1, so it's an exact replica of our original sound, but this is cool because now I can use this oscillator to trigger just the delay. So like if I go into the delay here in the bus 1 effects, I'll make the mix up all the way. Now on oscillator A, we have our normal sound, and oscillator B, we just have the delay. So something cool we could do is just move the delay up an octave. But since we have total control over this, we don't even need the delay to be the same wavetable. We could change the wavetable if we wanted to. But we don't even have to use a wavetable. We could use some sort of sample. Like we could use a pluck sample. So you can give the delay a totally different texture than the main sound, which sounds really cool. And then you can also just add whatever effects you want to only the delay. So like if I wanted to add, let's say some bit crusher, I'll add some distortion on here. I'll go to the bit crusher. So now only the delay has that bit crusher on it, and I can also just cycle through different sounds and see what sounds cool to trigger this delay. All right, let's move on to tip number 2, and this is gonna be for when you wanna make a sound have more character or just sound a little more dirty. That just sounds way too clean to me. So what I'm gonna do is take this noise oscillator and use it to modulate the main oscillator that we're working with. So if you overdo it, it takes away from the sound too much. But what this is doing is taking the white noise, the randomness from the white noise, and it's affecting the waveform of the saw wave. So it makes it more irregular. So it sounds dirtier and just has more character to it. It sounds so boring and clean without it. By the way, this preset I've been showing you is in my brand new Serum 2-pack called The Afters, which you can get at bigzsounds.com. There's a lot of really cool sounds in there if you want to check it out. Now let's move on to the third tip, and it's one of the big reasons why this sound works so well. So without it, it sounds like this. It's just way too static. Every note sounds the exact same. So how we're gonna fix this is use velocity modulation. So I can take the main filter on our sound and I can modulate that with the velocity. So now the quieter I play, the less the filter opens up, and the louder I play, the more it opens up. But we don't have to stop there. I could also use the velocity modulation, which is over here, to modulate that ring modulation that was coming from the noise oscillator. So now the louder I play, the dirtier the sound should get. Or to make it feel even more alive, I can map the velocity to the sustain, so that way the harder I press on my keyboard, the longer the notes are gonna be. So that's how you get a really dynamic sounding lead synth, because you can change your velocities around to get the energy that you want. Now, the last tip I want to show you is so you can get an instant sidechain pumping effect in any sound whenever you want with one knob. So we're going to take an LFO in free mode, and we're going to try to make the same shape that you would see in like Kickstart or Volume Shaper for sidechain. You know, something kind of like that, but we're going to flip it vertically. So that way we can go into the effects section and we'll add this utility plugin at the end of our effects chain. So it's the last thing our sound is going through. And we're gonna map that LFO to the gain slider, and we're just gonna make it go down all the way. Then as the aux source, we're gonna set this to one of our macros. I'm gonna do macro 8 because it was open, and then I can just rename that pumping or sidechain or whatever I want. So now when that's off, we're not gonna get any sidechain, but when it's on, we get that pumping effect, but we can control the amount of it. And I just came out with a full new Serum 2-pack called The Afters. You can check it out at bigzsounds.com. There's a lot of sick sounds in there. I know you guys are gonna make some great tunes with it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.